Greensleeves, a song famous for being written by King Henry VIII, even though it wasn't. Greensleeves is one of those tunes that has survived hundreds of years and is well known to us today from ice cream van chimes and call centre hold music. But no matter where you're hearing it, Greensleeves does always sound pretty much the same. I mean, Greensleeves is Greensleeves. Or so I thought. A couple of Christmases ago, I was listening to the Christmas album by Jethro Tull. Jethro Tull has a version of Greensleeves called Greensleeved, with a D, and it's Greensleeves, but different. The song's still instantly recognisable as Greensleeves, it's just more. If you're not familiar with Jethro Tull's version of Greensleeved, then now might be a good time to pop off and give it a listen, so that we're all on the same page for the rest of this video. Because what I want to do is to go and have a play around with Greensleeves for myself, see if we can switch things up a little bit, and see what we're left with by the end of the video. I wanted to take inspiration from Jethro Tull's Greensleeved, but to try to make my own version of Greensleeves. I filmed everything I did, but that just left me with 40 minutes of incredibly dull footage, mostly of me doing something like this. B flat, A, B, A, C. So I think it might be better if I just give you the summarised version. To get started, I took the usual sheet music for Greensleeves. You can find lots of versions for free on the internet. Got rid of all the musical directions and articulation stuff, and just tried playing the notes in a rhythm that was a bit more like Jethro Tull's version. So it went from to how different does it sound already? What a difference the rhythm makes. Amazed with the success of switching up the rhythm, I started wondering what else to change. Let's take it line by line. To match the new, bouncier, upbeat tempo, I wanted to start by splitting up this crotchet note at the beginning. I thought it might be cool to take this A and use it as a kind of bass line that I kept returning to, in between ascending a chromatic scale to lead into the melody. It wasn't cool. It was too prolonged and it just sounded clunky. But then I hit on the idea of simply splitting that C crotchet note into another repeat of AC, and I liked that. Simple, but it adds a bit of interest. I decided to leave the rest of that phrase as it was to establish to the listener that this is still definitely Greensleeves. You might have noticed by now that what I'm writing is complete sheet, music nonsense. There's no time signature, no bar lines, not even any time value assigned to the notes. I was just writing ideas down quickly as I went, not wanting my creativity to be stifled by trivial factors such as music theory. Or I was just being lazy. You decide. Anyway, on to the second phrase. It starts in exactly the same way as the first, so I gave it the same treatment, splitting the first crotchet down into another AC repeat. But then I wanted to do something a bit different, and it seemed natural just to extend this ascent a bit more. And, as we started out on an A, why not arrive there too? I think that might sound okay. Does it sound a little bit too much? Does it sound like there's too many things trying to squeeze in? Oh, alright, maybe it does sound a bit crowded. We've been adding things in, so let's try taking something out. That B is going to bite the dust. I like the sound of jumping from the D down to the G, and it all sounds less crammed in. Yes. I played this through a couple of times and noticed that I just naturally wasn't wanting to play this A. So, it's gone. In Jethro Tull's Greensleeved, all this first part of the melody is repeated, rather than moving on to the next bit. I quite like the idea of hanging around on this main theme too. Why not? It's a catchy melody and it seems a shame to move on too soon, so I'm going to repeat it. But I need a way to move seamlessly back to the beginning. In Tull's version, some bassier instrument comes in to do the job, but I'm just going to walk down some lower notes on the recorder, and after a bit of trial and error, no. I eventually settled on... That's healthier. Which gives us this bit here. While I was working all that out, I accidentally played this F sharp from the original music as an E, and I liked it, so I decided E could stay. And here we are, safely back at the beginning. Now that D note that I ended my bass walk down thing on from before sort of stole the time usually given to this A pickup note at the beginning, so for this time around I'm going to take out the A note and for variety not bother splitting the C crotchet up like we did before. I could extend this scale again, and I think I will, but only as high as a G this time, so that means we can leave that B, B, and I'll just have to sort of hope to squeeze everything in when I play. With regards to all this stuff here, there are some crotchets that could easily be split up, but I chose just to add a bit of bounce by briefly visiting the D above this C. Not a trill as such, just a quick lift of the thumb. Easy. Well, now I feel like something different needs to happen, rather than playing another repeat. If I was to move on to the next part of the original tune, it moves to this high G. Hanging around on a higher note for a moment would add some interest, so that's what I'll do. This note though seems too long for our livelier version, so I'll split it into 3 short bursts before carrying on with the repeat from the previous phrase. Next, to move things along, I echoed our little AC-AC motif that we kicked off with and used it to open the next section, but this time bouncing between G and F sharp. I added C and E here to help climb up to the new bit. Then, in the spirit of repeating things, I repeated it. Before finishing the rest of the phrase as usual, and then repeating it one more time, because it kind of felt like it was building to some sort of conclusion. Which we are. If only I could think of an ending. Coming up with a good enough ending was concerning me. I spent a fair while repeatedly playing through what I had over and over again, and that's when it hit me. Just repeat it. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here, only make small changes that come together to impact the piece as a whole. Just repeating these last few notes seemed to give enough impact for me. But then I've been listening to a lot of blues music this week, and maybe all that bluesy repetition has rubbed off on me. Anyway, it's finally time to put it all together and see what we've got. Written out a bit more neatly now, as promised. Hopefully it makes a little bit more sense now it's all together. So let's give it a play. So obviously I haven't done anything revolutionary here at all. I've only made some very few basic changes, but I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I think that's because for once I didn't sit down and force myself to try and make everything work theoretically. I know my version relies heavily on Jethro Tull's, but inspiration is a way of learning, so I can only say thanks, Jethro Tull. You taught me not to be afraid of reimagining the classics. Just a bit. And thanks to you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I make a new video every week, always about something musical, and it'd be great to see you again next time. Bye!